Indian dancing. And a lot of the foods that we eat, we tell them that they're good. And in our skiing program, a lot of the children, really enjoy skiing. They enjoy the outdoors. We'd like them to hike, learn how to hike, to use snowshoes, to learn how to hunt. And, like if there's fishing season, we want them to know how to cut fish.
One of the traditions we still retain is the sharing that there used to be a lot of in the old days. Like today, the Indian fishermen still go out in their seine boats and catch the salmon, bring them back, and this is distributed to all the families on the reserve to dry, smoke, and what have you.
Is there 20 there now? Les, have you been counting them? No. So you don't want to take any more?
It's good to see Indians confident again in our own values. The materialistic values that have dominated North America for a century are now being seriously questioned, and more non-Indians are learning to value the land and the life as we do. But accepting our values isn't going to right the wrongs of the past 100 years. Only a fair settlement of our claims could hope to repay this debt of the Canadian people. What was done to Indians was neither moral nor just. It wasn't even lawful under Indian or white man's law.
In 1969, in the Calder case, the Nisga'a Indians took the government to court claiming the ownership of their traditional territories. There'd never been a treaty, there'd never been compensation paid, and there'd never been a conquest. The legal basis of the claim was that the whites hadn't played by their own ground rules in British Columbia. Ever since 1763, it had been clear government policy in what is now Canada to purchase lands from the Indians by treaty before white settlement. That principle was violated in British Columbia, just as it was violated in the Yukon and in northern Quebec. Early in 1973, the Supreme Court of Canada handed down its judgment in the Calder case. The court split evenly on the question whether the Nisga'as still owned their traditional territory. But no judge said that the Nisga'as had not had land rights, and 3 judges said that they still owned the Nass River Valley. The case was a technical defeat, but a real victory for Indian people.
It seems ridiculous that we should be the ones working so hard to prove our ownership of land in BC. But we're prepared to do whatever is necessary to untangle the confusion of the past and tell the 2 governments very clearly what we want. In our Land Claims Research Center in Victoria, we're putting together information from historical documents and stories our field workers dig up around the province.
I've gone to the various bands and to the councils and tried to sort of open up the book to them on what land claims is about and trying to make material available to them And I've been trying to get people more involved in research and having them accept the fact that this type of thing has to go on so that the whole concept of land claims is a more full commitment by the people, involvement. You have to have them realize that there's some responsibility on their behalf too. Indian people at the band level have to realize their situation.
I would like to now introduce to you our guest speaker today.
Reserves were made for a vanishing people. The laws of Canada have made a mockery of our existence. The federal and provincial governments have got to stop playing with words and change those things that only they have the power to do. Any settlement will have to recognize our rights as the first people in this country, guarantee us an appropriate share of land and natural resources, and repay the damages of the past. There will be no agreement unless we are guaranteed that it will not be broken like past agreements. Canadian culture will never be complete until Indian culture is a recognized part of it. Settlement of Indian land claims will begin that recognition as long as it respects our differences and encourages real change in Indian and white relationships. The land is our culture, and a fair settlement of our claims will recognize that our culture has a future.